Okay, let's all stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May be seated. Mr. Law Director, I forgot to ask you, is there a need for an executive?
There is some potential litigation that perhaps we should discuss.
Okay, so we do have a need for an executive session after the call of counsel on threatening and pending litigation for the purpose of competence with an attorney. On 21.22G, what is that, 3, I think? Yes, G3. Approval of the minutes, you all received a copy of the last meeting's minutes in the, via electronically. Any questions or corrections or additions? Seeing none, they will stand approved as presented. Current financial report, you've been provided with that. Any comments, corrections, or questions for the auditor, or a move to?
Motion to adopt.
Approve. Motion by Mr. Godwin to approve the current financial report. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy Shell,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Then the only thing we had to add was the need for the executive session.
Move to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Howdy Shell,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Public hearing. We have none scheduled for this evening. Anyone wishing to address council may do so. Boy, the place is packed. I don't know if we can get everybody in before midnight. So, Chief, you want to make a presentation?
No, sir, I have nothing to
Okay. No public hearing then at this particular point, so we'll move on with the administrative reports. Mr. Mayor.
And I have very little. I know that the first Friday is going to have, it's a special Christmas time downtown, so if anybody's around, enjoy it. A couple of you were at the CIC joint meeting earlier. I would imagine they'll get some minutes out pretty soon. We had a nice discussion about how things are going, what's happened with the CIC, and see the council's on board with whatever we've been working on. So get a chance to review those. If you have any questions, let me know. So, and that's all I got. So I pass.
Okay. Thank you. Safety Service Director, Mr. Garrison.
Thank you, President Burgett. Just briefly let council know that leaf pickup services continue from the street department. They are working on the weekends to diligently get those all picked up and depositing them outside of Greenville at a local landscaper's property. So again, as the weather cooperates, just ask that folks would get their leaves raked out to the curb. And would like to, even though the horse parade did not happen a couple weeks ago, would like to thank everyone that participated in welcoming Ken and Stacy back to Greenville. I got to watch that online, and it looked like a wonderful event. And just a thank you to, I think Shannon Fritz, our assistant chief, was acting through, I believe, the American Legion, but still representing the city of Greenville, and was very instrumental in putting that together and a liaison for the city. So we appreciate all of his efforts, and just thank everybody that it was a great turnout and what happened. So with that, if there are no questions from council, I will pass this evening.
They're doing a nice job on that leaf pickup, by the way, I think. I've seen them out a couple times, and
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Law Director, Mr. Brand.
I'll pass.
City Auditor, Mrs. Wilman.
Thank you, President Burkett. I shall pass as well.
Thank you. There are no committee reports, and this is going to be rather quickly. You're the one going to be doing all the work tonight because there are not enough votes to suspend the rules, so we'll just be giving each ordinance or resolution its first reading by title only. So if you will, we'll deal with the ordinance appropriating the funds necessary for various departments and offices in the city of Greenville for 2020 and declaring an emergency, but we can't adopt the emergency clause, so if you will, go ahead.
An ordinance appropriating funds necessary for the various departments and offices of the city of Greenville, Ohio for the year 2020 and declaring an emergency. This ordinance appropriates the funds of the city of Greenville for personal services, operations and maintenance, transfers and capital new equipment to fulfill purposes for which the city of Greenville must provide in the year 2020. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Do you recall right off what the bottom line was? I wrote it.
3 million,
23 million plus.
23 million plus.
Yeah, okay, wow. Okay, item 2, an ordinance establishing wages and salaries for various employees, city of Greenville, not covered by a wage agreement and declaring an emergency.
An ordinance establishing wages, salaries for the various employees of the city of Greenville not covered by wage agreements and declaring an emergency. This ordinance establishes wages and salaries for the designated employees of the city of Greenville effective first full pay of 2020, and this ordinance has an emergency clause.
And next we have establishing salaries and wages for various employees of the city of Greenville. That should be covered by wage agreements, shouldn't it? We got 2 of them?
Yes, one is for seasonal part-time help. It's to bring it up to minimum wage for January 1. And the other one is just the 3%.
Oh, for non-union. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
An ordinance establishing salaries, wages for the various employees of the city of Greenville not covered by wage agreements. And this ordinance establishes the salaries and wages for the temporary seasonal employees of the city of Greenville effective January 1st, 2020.
And next we have an ordinance accepting a permanent easement for water lines.
An ordinance accepting a permanent easement for water line. This ordinance authorizes a permanent easement for the construction and maintenance of a water line running from the south side to north side of the Greenville Creek connecting Underwater Street.
And then an ordinance accepting a temporary easement for water line construction in property of the Dark County Park District.
An ordinance accepting a temporary easement for water line construction in property of the Dark County Park District. This ordinance accepts a temporary easement for the construction and maintenance of a water line that runs from the south side to north side of the Greenville Creek connecting Underwater Street.
And we have an ordinance accepting a permanent easement for a water line through the property of the Dark County Park District. Dark County Park District, yeah.
An ordinance accepting a permanent easement for water line through property of the Dark County Park District. This ordinance accepts a permanent easement for the construction and maintenance of a water line that runs from the south side to north side of the Greenville Creek connecting Underwater Street.
And next we have an ordinance, resolution authorizing safety service director to advertise for bids for the Greenville Creek water line project.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for Greenville Creek Waterline Project. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids to install a water line under the Greenville Creek.
And next we have a supplemental appropriations.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019. And the supplemental ordinance allows for appropriation in the general fund for salaries, secretary, and planning and zoning in the amount of $1,360. These funds are needed to cover secretary salaries through December 31st, 2019.
And finally, transfer ordinance.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the city of Greenville. This transfer ordinance authorizes transfers in the following funds. General fund, $500 from new equipment, police department, to office supplies, police department. This transfer is needed to cover additional office expense through December 31st, 2019. General fund, $3,000 from salaries department head, planning and zoning, to salaries, planning and zoning. This transfer is needed to cover payouts for retiring employees. General fund, $250 from training and education, municipal building, to professional services, municipal building. This transfer is needed to cover additional cleaning through December 31st, 2019. And then park fund, $560 from equipment maintenance, park to future park development park. This transfer is needed to cover fort restorations.
That's pretty quick.
10 minutes.
Thank you. No items under old or new business. What items do we have under communication?
You received the monthly reports from November from the income tax department.
That's all the communications we have. Yep. Any members of council items of communications? I was just for a matter of discussion here, I don't know whether this deals with communications, I guess. But maybe as council looks to next year, we met with the CIC prior to this council meeting, and a lot of good things were exchanged back and forth. And come January, we're going to be making appointments for you all to serve on different boards and committees and so forth. I don't want a definite answer, but I've been contemplating this possibly, and I haven't said anyone to anyone else, even members of the administration, so I apologize for not running it before you. I don't want a definite answer tonight. But just as we deal with communications, perhaps adding an item to the agenda under maybe, I don't know where yet, I haven't even thought about that, but a place for various board members to bring council up to date. If not every meeting, at least once a month, perhaps the last meeting of the month. And if your board that you serve on or group that you deal with only meets every other month, naturally you wouldn't be required to give a report. But kind of, by putting it on the agenda, kind of forcing us to keep council informed. Just think about that.
I like it.
It's a good idea.
Therefore, we quite often we go for a long time unless some real big message or urgent issue comes up. It's like, oh gee, all of a sudden the Council on Aging needs blah, 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 blah. Well, if we would have been apprised along the way of something, and not everything, I understand, and it doesn't have to be super formal, but at least it's on the agenda and we're asking that at least someone communicate what's going on. So think about
Mr.
that.
Council President, along that line, I don't know if it's been done or not, because I always get them when I'm at those meetings, but I, throughout the year, encourage the directors of both Main Street, Greenville, and Dark County Visitors Bureau to email their report to every council member. I don't know if they've done that,
I don't.
but it would be a very good thing.
So, yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
So they haven't done it, okay. I thought it was a good suggestion, because it would keep you guys appraised of everything I hear at those meetings. It would be an easy thing to do, but I guess they haven't done it.
Well, it's just something to maybe consider in the future, so, something that after we get the 2020 year off and rolling, maybe we can move into that phase of it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's something to consider. If there's nothing else under communications, I'd ask that you call down the council, please.
Godwin,
Pass.
Rogers,
Yes, speaking along with what President Burkett was saying, is starting the first of the year, there's going to be a new, I guess you call him a caretaker at the Greenville Union Cemetery, and that new person will be Tracy Trial. So with that, I pass.
You serve on the cemetery
Yes.
board? Okay, thank you.
Howdy Show,
I just like to say I'm glad everybody here found a seat set tonight. And with that, I pass.
Schmidt,
I'm going to echo what Kurt spoke about the horse parade. It was unfortunate the weather didn't cooperate, but I do want to comment on how nice the downtown looks in the circle and the YOLO Park. And I mean, if it would have been on that night, it was beautiful, and it still is. But it really looks good. So everyone that's been involved with that, hats off. And with that, I will pass.
Whitaker,
I had the opportunity to go to the welcoming home parade as well for Kent and Stacy, and it was just unbelievable, the reception he got, all the way from Columbus, all the way to here. The overpasses along I-70 are full of first responder units, and it had to be the most touching thing for him. And then I went to the dinner that they had last Friday evening, and again, a fantastic turnout at the VFW. And it was a pleasure for me to be there and just get to visit with a lot of people and to visit with Kenton. And he's going through an awful lot, and he needs to be in our prayers and their family. So with that, I pass.
President Burkett,
I too would reiterate that, thank for everyone's cooperation. It's unfortunate that the weather plays such a significant role in the horse parade, but the preparation was there, and a lot of people put a lot of hours into that work, and I appreciate everyone's effort. Additionally, I think the town looks absolutely festive, if you will. Things look nice, and wow, 2 more days, and the big guy in the red suit's going to be hanging around. So, but enjoy the time, because it's going to go quickly. So we're looking forward to getting this legislation taken care of. Probably the next meeting, hopefully, we'll have enough to pass, because we have to pass the 2020 appropriation. So we'll look forward to that. With that, I'd entertain a motion that we rise to executive session
So move.
for the purpose of discussing threatening and pending litigation conference with an attorney. And I would like to take the deputy auditor with us. Mr. Law Director, is it necessary that the fire chief, okay. All right. So, call the roll, please.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Howdy Show.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
We'll stand in short recess. Thank you all for your attendance.